We've seen a lot of stars drafted at the number 2 pick, while we've also seen a lot of draft bust. In this video, we look at every number 2 pick since 2015 and see how their career has went since draft day.
The second pick in the 2015 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select Marcus Mariota, quarterback, Oregon.
With Tennessee's second overall pick, they draft Marcus Mariota. In college, Mariota was a legend for the Ducks, winning the school's only Heisman Trophy while owning every passing record and rushing record for quarterbacks when he went for the draft. After dominating at the college level for Oregon, Mariota was supposed to be the Titans' savior, and it looked like that would be the case after 1 week. In his rookie year, Mariota would go on to suffer an MCL sprain and would miss the remainder of the year. But in his second year, Mariota picked up where he left off, having his best season to date, throwing for 3,400 passing yards and 26 touchdowns. He was named a Pro Bowl alternate, but his season once again came to an end after a Week 16 injury against Jacksonville. In his third year, Mariota struggled mightily, but surprisingly, the Titans did end up winning a playoff game against the Chiefs. The highlight of the Titans' year was the touchdown Mariota had after catching his own pass.
Tennessee in dire need of 6 and not 3. Mariota to the line of scrimmage, maybe across the line. It deflects back to him for a touchdown for the moment. But was he across the line of scrimmage?
Or he's an eligible receiver. It is a touchdown.
That's a touchdown.
Very
And
close.
one you won't see for a long time.
After these opening years for Tennessee, Mariota's career would go downhill. Injuries plagued his career and he would get his job taken by Ryan Tannehill in 2019. Mariota would eventually bounce from team to team, rarely seeing minutes nowadays. Marcus Mariota currently plays for Philadelphia as Jalen Hurts' backup.
With the second pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Carson Wentz, quarterback, North Dakota State.
The 23-year-old quarterback out of North Dakota State was must-watch in his rookie year. The Eagles traded up to get Wentz and it looked to have paid off. The Eagles got off to a hot 3-0 start that year as Wentz threw 5 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. They would go on to finish 7-9, but Philly believed they had something special. But nobody could have predicted what happened in the following year.
Out to his left. What a run. Some missed tackles and Wentz. First down.
He down. Where did he go? Amazing.
Blitz. Wentz sees, spins away. What a move. Carson Wentz gonna run it. Gonna get it. Inside the 20.
Over the first 12 games of the season, Wentz had led the Eagles to a 10-2 record while throwing for over 3,000 yards and 29 touchdowns with only 6 interceptions. The Birds were cruising to the Super Bowl and Wentz was the favorite to win the MVP. But we know what happened next.
Wentz to his right. Flag is down and Wentz in for the touchdown, but a flag thrown. We'll see if it's coming back.
Wentz would be out for the year with a torn ACL, one of the worst injuries a player could endure. Good news for Philly fans was the miracle run of Nick Foles, but for Wentz, his career was never the same after the injury. Carson looked rusty in his first year back, which was expected, but the rust never left. Even worse, Carson Wentz would go down with another injury, a fractured vertebrae. The Eagles were 6-7 and Wentz was officially ruled out for the year. In the 2019 season, Wentz looked to quiet some doubts. After a 5-7 start, Wentz led the Eagles to 4 straight wins to close the regular season, winning the NFC East after a Week 17 win over the Giants. Wentz's playoff debut lasted just 9 plays. A hit from Seahawks defensive end Jadeveon Clowney knocked Wentz out for the game with a concussion. The following year, the Eagles drafted Jalen Hurts, at the time a puzzling pick, but would end up spelling the end of the Wentz era in Philly. Carson has bounced from Philly to the Colts, where he only played for 1 year, then to Washington, where he also only played for 1 year, and he was cut by the Commanders, where he remains as a free agent. The former MVP frontrunner is now on the brink of never returning to play another snap of NFL football.
With the second pick in the 2017 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Mitchell Trubisky, quarterback, North Carolina.
Hello.
The Bears shocked many with their move up to select the North Carolina prospect, Mitchell Trubisky. But after the North Carolina product threw twice as many touchdowns as interceptions and won 11 out of 14 games, it looked like the Bears had their future quarterback. That optimism would grow as Trubisky took a major step forward in 2018, completing more than 66% of his passes for 3,200 yards and 24 touchdowns with 12 interceptions. He made the Pro Bowl and helped the Bears going 12-4 and winning the NFC North. After a good sophomore year, he was expected to take another step forward, but that did not happen. Trubisky recorded roughly as many yards as 2018, but his completion percentage dropped, so did his touchdown passes by almost 30%, and his passer rating fell over 12 points, and the Bears ended up missing the playoffs. In March of 2020, the Bears traded for Nick Foles, signifying they weren't fully trusting the Trubisky experiment. Chicago went even further to decline his fifth-year option. In 2020, Trubisky would be benched in Week 3 after a bad performance, and even though Chicago made the playoffs, they were swiftly beat by New Orleans in the wild card. Chicago would sign 33-year-old Andy Dalton, and Trubisky would go to Buffalo where he would back up Josh Allen. It was clear Trubisky was not the focal point of the Bears winning. Their defense led by Khalil Mack was the main factor, but it was somewhat surprising how fast the Bears jumped off the Trubisky train. Considering Trubisky was drafted over Deshaun Watson and especially Patrick Mahomes, and the fact that Chicago still has question marks at the quarterback position, it seems like the Bears aren't going to hear the end of this number 2 selection.
With the second pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Saquan Barkley, running back, Penn State.
The first non-quarterback we looked at, and the highest drafted running back up to date. Barkley burst onto the scene in 2018 in tandem with Odell Beckham Jr., and Barkley ended up winning the league's Offensive Rookie of the Year. Barkley finished the year with over 1,300 rushing yards and set the record for receptions by a rookie running back with 91 catches. Drafting a running back so high has been looked down upon since the emergence of the passing game, but it looked to be working for the Giants. But the ugly side of running backs has started to peek its head. Besides 2022, Barkley has been riddled with injuries. When healthy, it's clear Saquon is one of the game's best, but the problem is, can he stay on the field? Even this year, he has recently suffered a sprained ankle. He does seem ready to play soon, but if Barkley can't stay healthy, this is a draft pick that will be looked down upon by most.
With the second pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Nick Bosa, defensive end, Ohio State.
There isn't much to say here. The second pick in the 2019 draft has been amazing. Nick Bosa out of the gate has been one of the league's best pass rushers. The reigning defensive player of the year is coming off a monster year and has helped lead a 5-0 start by San Francisco. Recently, Nick Bosa has signed a 5-year, $170 million deal to stay a 49er. If the All-Pro defensive end continues this pace, he will surely be a future Hall of Famer.
With the second pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Washington Redskins select Chase Young, defensive end, Ohio State.
The Washington Commanders selected the defensive end out of Ohio State in hopes to bolster up their defense. Chase Young in his rookie year was worth the number 2 selection. Young was the standout of his rookie class, leading all rookies in sacks, tackles for loss, pressures, and tied for first in forced fumbles. Young won the Defensive Rookie of the Year and became the first Washington player to win the award and helped lead his team to a playoff berth. But in his sophomore year, Young had a sluggish start, not helped by the fact that he suffered a non-contact injury in Week 10 against Tampa Bay, which would end up being a torn ACL that would end the young star's season before he could get going. The young star is comparable to Saquon in the fact that he has looked good when he plays, but there is a clear issue with his ability to stay on the field. Chase Young looks at quiet doubts in his 2023 campaign, but the Commanders have not quieted doubts by making remarks indicating they aren't going to pick up his fifth-year option. Ron Rivera says Young may use that knowledge as motivation to play better, but only time will tell if it will become reality.
With the second pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Zack Wilson, quarterback, BYU.
The BYU product was drafted in the hopes to fix the major problems the Jets have had at quarterback. Simply put, Zack Wilson has been the definition of a up and down quarterback, and mainly down for Wilson. After his rookie year, many said that it was the situation to blame and that the Jets have to give him more time to develop. But after another sophomore season that saw Zack Wilson struggle mightily, the Jets looked for other options to fix their quarterback woes. After months of speculation, Aaron Rodgers finally was a member of the New York Jets. Sadly for all Jets fans, that optimism was shot down in a matter of minutes after Rodgers tore his ACL on his first drive versus Buffalo in Week 1. Even with no Aaron Rodgers, the Jets weren't just going to stay down and take a loss against one of the league's best teams.
Garrett Wilson, wow! What a catch! Touchdown, Jets! That kid's amazing. There is no way he caught that. Right hand out there, and then concentrate and reel it in is incredible.
Zack Wilson would come in against another great team, Week 4 versus the reigning Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. Zack Wilson would make a major shock to the NFL world.
To Hall, Zack Wilson goes to Garrett Wilson again. Wilson trying to turn Wilson for Zack. The first down, out of the pocket, fire downfield towards Lazard, comes back and makes the catch at the 20-yard line. A gain of 39. Three safeties deep. Zack Wilson steps up, takes off, gets around midfield. 8 for the first down. Wilson throwing end zone touchdown. Allen Lazard. What a drive.
Sadly, the Jets were not able to complete the impossible, but the Jets have some optimism again after a great performance by Wilson. As of now, the Wilson hype train has kinda died down, but maybe he can make a comeback. A lot of outlets speculate the Jets make a possible trade for Kirk Cousins, while some still pray for Aaron Rodgers to come back later in the season. Whatever happens, it looks like Zack Wilson was a major miss on the Jets' part and will go down as one of the biggest busts in NFL history.
With the second pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Aiden Hutchinson, defensive end, Michigan.
With the number 2 pick, the Lions select Aiden Hutchinson. The Michigan superstar was projected to be the first overall pick, but after a shocking selection by Jacksonville, Hutchinson falls to Detroit. Luckily for the Lions, Hutchinson has looked like an absolute beast in his first 2 years in the NFL, finishing with 9.5 sacks in his rookie campaign and finishing second in Defensive Rookie of the Year voting, only to Sauce Gardner. Unlike Trayvon Walker, Hutchinson has lived up to the hype in year 2, and he looks to make his first Pro Bowl and maybe even All-Pro as he continues to dominate in his sophomore season.
With the second pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select C.J. Stroud, quarterback, Ohio State.
And lastly, we have C.J. Stroud. The Ohio State quarterback was heavily criticized for his poor score on the Wonderlic test. It also doesn't help that the stigma around Ohio State quarterbacks are that they become busts in the NFL. But to start his career, C.J. Stroud has looked amazing. His ball placement and timing has been on another level, especially for a rookie quarterback. Even with mediocre options on the offensive end, C.J. Stroud has continued to impress and proved doubters wrong. If he continues his stellar play and takes the next step forward in the coming years, we may be seeing a new future superstar emerge.
Creep up in this game. Their front has been able to mask some of that.
There's a pass, beautiful ball, Collins, and he's going to waltz in, touchdown,